Hello. Um, you know me already. It's me. It's Crow. Hello. You sent me a message telling me you're in grave danger and I'm your only hope. You sent this message over a robot. He's kind of weird. Doesn't talk. He just uses random high-pitched noises. Anyways, the robot said, uh, you've okay. Basically, the opponent frustrated you with his playstyle, and you got tilted. The thing about mentality in 1v1s is I won't be a hypocrite. I get tilted a lot, but recently I've come into a change of mind and I'm trying to change as a person. I am 17 years old, almost 18, so I think this change is sincere, and I think this change is very good. I'm going from an irrational, irresponsible, negative person. I'm becoming into a more positive, rational, not so dependent on emotion person. So my new way of dealing with problems is when I feel like I'm having an emotional response, I try to identify which emotion it is, and since I can identify which emotion it is, I can just use the counter emotions to that emotion, I guess, and try to relieve myself of stress and of pressure from that specific emotion. So when I get tilted and my teammate because they whiffed, I identify that this emotion is disappointment. So I try to look for a good thing in my teammate. I'm like, well, you know what? This guy is kind of good at dribbling. I'm kind of proud of him. He's really he's doing better than my expectations. I'm very glad of it. And these emotions are sincere because he is doing something that I didn't expect and it's better than it. So this kind of helps, and this can also be put into various different situations. It can be put into my opponent is tilting me because I feel it's bad manner for them to just sit in the goal, not even move when I'm being close to them with the ball. Feel like they're mocking me. So I rationalize it. I'm like, well, he's not actually mocking me. He's just waiting for me to make a move. So think of it from his perspective. He's waiting on a good move for me, and until I make uh, a good move, he won't be bothered. Why would he? Why would I if someone's doing that? So let's see what happens, and let's see where I guess where you got an emotional response, and if I can help you get by it. Okay, I see your problem right at the beginning. Uh, you dodge a bit too late. That's just a mechanical problem. Next up, you kind of didn't notice he's going for it. Even if you did, your mechanics kind of screwed you over. I can already see the type of player he is, and possibly I've already guessed, but in my intro speech, that he is one of those people that just wait on you to do your shit. Let's see. You gave him the ball, which on those kickoffs, it's I'll show you. I don't know what I did in the first video I made. You're possibly the first guy I ever made a video for. If you're from Reddit, definitely. Um, and I don't know if at that time I was doing. I went into free play and showed some things from a car perspective, from my perspective. So even if I did, I'll just go again and show you how to do what I call the cheap flick. Oh dear me. Okay. First off, you should be ready for this. I don't know why you're not even boost. I think you have boost. I think no, you missed out. Okay, so when you're going back, instead of worrying about the half flip, you could instead worry about picking up the boost pads. And also, when you turn into the goal, you never want to be this far into the goal. And also, if you see him getting like, he's not even going for the ball. He's creeping forward. He's literally just he isn't using boost. He's just creeping forward, waiting for the ball to come closer. And if you see him do that, you can already know he's gonna go for it. The way to counter this is just to go for it, and you didn't. You kind of go for it very late, and you had no boost. So that's okay. The biggest mistake was in the beginning when you made a poor kickoff and didn't notice him not going for the ball, and you didn't punish him for it. Am I true to guess he'll do this again? Yeah. That kind of touch is not good. I'll show you the cheap flick. It's okay. Okay, right now you might be Okay, I think you're getting frustrated right now, as he's giving you so much space, and you're thinking to yourself, he's giving me so much space, and I'm doing stupid shit like this. Well, if you think you're doing stupid shit like this, then think about what's going wrong. Identify that what is happening is frustration, and also he's doing something that you're not experienced with. So think of it as you will fail against something you're not expecting, because by definition you cannot guess what he's gonna do. So there's no real point in getting mad at yourself for not knowing what he's going to do. So first off, if you have space in this situation, always let the ball, for fuck's sake, let the ball just drop down and then go for it. You might get frustrated by this. Like, my advice is never to do this where you go under the ball in the goal and then wait for a shot. This is classic prospect play. The thing you have to be doing is approaching this ball as it bounces. You can very easily go up the wall here and go for it. The best thing to do at this position is to think rationally, and is best if you watch other players who are better than you, how they play, and if you know they often enough go up the wall and just hit it when they they don't have enough boost to do an aerial. Then by all means, when you're thinking rationally, remember that and try it. There's no real shame in missing this wall shot. That's a possibility. The reason why it's not shame to miss is because your other option is just wait for him to shoot, and from this position he's gonna score it 100% of the time. So don't be afraid to miss the ball in new situations like this. I know I'm pretty sure by now you're already getting frustrated. The reason why this tactic works so good is because it abuses the opponent's lack of mechanical skill. I'm sorry if that was a bit not understandable. I'll say it again anyways, because I had my fingers on my mouth. What I said is the reason why this tactic is so so easily the reason why this can be abused so much is because of the opponent's lack of skill, lack of mechanical skill. Um, to be more specific, he just waits for you to whiff, which basically is basically bad manner. It's not bad manner. It might look like it's bad manner, but it's really just really smart. So what you have to do is get creative. Of course, it's no big deal that this is happening. This is okay. Don't get scared of this when it happens. Um, it's going to happen, and I don't know what this is. Okay, I don't think you're making rational ideas of how to approach this situation. Let me put this into perspective. Again, I don't know if I told you this in the previous video. Again, doesn't matter. Never challenge the ball in the corner. You can miss. You can hit it into him. You can hit it off the back wall. You can hit it off the corner wall. All of those situations, if they happen, they're against you, and they're not. You're always going to get fucked attacking the ball in the opponent's corner. He's just playing with you right now. He's playing with your mind, and it's probably frustrating the shit of you. And he also knows this. So the best way to fight him, knowing that, is by doing what he does not want you to do, and that's staying calm. The thing I recommend, now that I think about it, is to find a buddy that doesn't play like this. Find a friend that you know is roughly your skill in 1v1s. Try to learn some basic stuff in 1v1s. I'll go over it very soon. And then try those things against your friend, and then only get into ranked when you can pull off those things consistently. Okay, let's get into free play. This is, to be honest, it's kind of pissing me off as well. It is kind of it does seem like it's really bad manner. It's really, trust me, it's just smart play. He's not trying to be maybe he is, but even if he is, don't let him get to you. Okay, so look at this from my perspective. From my perspective, when I'm watching you, what I see is a very slow player trying to do things he saw other people do, but he does not mimic the speed. So basically, you're moving around this speed. I'm just showing you on the screen. You're touching the ball. You don't. You're touching the ball aimlessly. You're trying to shoot. The ball doesn't have any speed. The biggest reason why no one does that tactic in higher ranks is because it's useless. When people know how to get the ball speed, to give the ball speed, uh, staying in goal is, not a viable tactic. Because giving people that know how to use the ball space is going to result in frustration on their end. Now, um, what can you do about this? Well, first you have to understand there's a time and place for everything. In free play, you want to learn new things and you want to practice them. In games, you want to learn what you practice and what you know how to do consistently, and then only use then what you know in matches. If you would like to take the game seriously, which I think you do, take my advice and don't play 1v1s competitively until you have a list of things you want to know and a list of things you think are very important for running ones, and how to know if you can do it consistently. Let's just take it, you can do it 10 times in a row in free play. So if I want to consistently hold the ball in my car from one goal to the other, I have to do it 10 times in a row before I can think of it as a success. Yeah? Whoops. This is so prospecty. That shit. Jesus. Okay, so I'm gonna help you make the list. From my perspective, a prospect. Forgive me if I fucked up your ranked. I kind of forget. Lately, I've been into this coach thing, and I kind of did 10 videos in 2 days, in one day actually. So I kind of get lost in who is. I know that you're from Reddit, and I think you're challenger, and also you play like a. No, I think you're prospect, and also you play like a prospect. So if you are indeed challenger, please forgive me. I don't mean it as an insult, but I also don't think I'm wrong. You're very rarely in supersonic, and your car control is quite stiff. So I do think you're a prospect. So what do you need to know? Um, from my perspective, I'll just quickly change into a car that's more relatable to you, I guess, to help you in that way as well. Standard, changeable. It says changeable, so I guess I can change it. What boost do I have? It's probably bubbles. No, it's not. It's blue. Okay. I have to check, man. Boost is very important. So you have the breakout type S. This is its predecessor, which is more sexy. Fuck off. Okay. So what do you need to know in ones? That's my controller. In ones to and what do you need to know what things you need to know how to do consistently when you can consider yourself good enough for 1v1s. I'd start off with the most basic, and not only basic, the most important part of Rocket League, 50-50s. With the breakout, they're kinda fucked up because the car is so thin. Look at that nose, like it's it's a very thin car, very short, and actually from this, I think you see it from this point why it's thin. It's yeah, it's quite thin, and it's also quite short. So that small hitbox, relatively small hitbox, makes it kind of difficult for 50-50. It does not make them impossible by any means. You just have to know where to put your nose. Now the breakout is quite a long car, so hitting it with your nose, with the thinness and all, is kind of difficult. And this is what you have to practice. The way to practice it, I'll leave the trainer in the description. In the trainer that I use quite a lot, this first shot you want to hit the ball in the middle and with your nose. If you can do this, this is basically how you win 50-50s. You hit the ball with the most speed you can get, with the best angle you want, and just practice so that when you dodge, your nose hits the center of the ball, and you hit it with your nose, not roof like this, uh, not wheels like this. Nose. Precision is very important. Um, so that's how you do 50-50s. Uh, just nose, speed. Don't ever forget speed. Nose, speed. Again, what I want to tell you is do experiment with speed. If you're uncomfortable being fast, that's good. Not being comfortable in Rocket League is good, since you always have to learn something new, and learning something new is not always comfortable. For kickoffs, uh, I just want you to every now and then just stop and boost for a bit and then jump and see how far you go from here, and just do this just so you can get a feel of how long uh, you have to use your boost and when do you have to jump to get to supersonic, and also watch how far does this take you so you don't go too far or too short. That's one thing. Another thing is you don't want to use ball cam when doing kickoffs, so you can see when they're trying to screw you. Also, you want to take a bit of an angle. So if this is your kickoff, you want to take the boost and then, oops, I'm not doing this under any speed, I'm just moving forward. If you take the boost and then do it like this, you can see I actually saw the whole goal. At least I saw every part of the goal at least at some point during the kickoff. There was no point in time where I didn't see the middle of the goal, for example. So let me just show you one more time. Like I see the middle of the goal right now, blah blah blah. So you want to attack the ball from the angle, and you don't want to use ball cam. It makes 50-50s kind of easier, at least for me. If you don't feel comfortable with it, you can leave ball cam on. But for me, it's easier. So I told you how to do 50-50s and how to do a kickoff. Great. I think I started to say something and then forgot about it. But yeah, basically 50-50s are both a defensive and offensive thing. They're both very valuable weapons in defense and offense. In defense, you should learn how to shadow. Now shadowing is a bit tricky because I don't think I really have any replays for like. Actually, I do. Wait. I do have replay to show what I mean. I don't know where like this might be. This might take a while. While I'm looking for it, I'll tell you about a bit what shadowing is. Shadowing is when you're optimally staying when your opponent is dribbling and you're staying at the optimal distance. How do we define optimal distance? It's the distance where if he shoots the ball, you have time and you have space to react and save it, but it's also the distance where he cannot commit fully to a dribble, like a full-on ball carry, because you're too close and you can just stop moving and jump into him, and that's how you shadow. Jason here, the guy we're watching, he shadowed my friend and teammate here, Jack. I think he does it around. Okay, he did kind of do it here, just to show what I mean. This might be a bit too fast for you. Don't mean to be a cunt or anything, but it does seem like this might be too fast gameplay. What you see here is the ball bounced very high, and Jack has an angle to shoot the ball towards Jason's goal. So what you see, Jason's let's look at Jason's distance from the ball. If Jack does a light touch, imagine it kind of bounces somewhere around here, and it kind of starts falling to his car, and Jason, look at him, he's pretty much on the perfect distance to just turn around very quickly and sharply into the ball and challenge Jack. Next up, you'll see as soon as Jason notices Jack moving in and not slowing down, he immediately relocates himself and gives much more space between himself and the ball. Other than that, he also gives himself more speed. Basically, he did a good shadow here because Jack, like you can see, the blue guy, he's too far away to challenge this without fucking it up completely. And Jason here, he's in the perfect position. Well, not the perfect because he's going for the butt shot. Well, if he moved a bit to the left, he could have turned quickly into the right. It doesn't matter. But anyways, he was very close. He was close enough for this ball to save it if a dribble is coming. If he leaves the ball, if Jack leaves the ball, and if Jack shoots, he was at the perfect distance. Now, as you can see, Jack is doing the same thing, just that he, I'll do this in slow-mo. What he does is he fails to notice Jason does not stop boosting here. So Jason goes here, and if you notice the blue car, he's not boosting at all at the whole time, and this is the reason why his shadow failed. The only reason why he starts to boost around here, and it's too late. So that's an example of good shadowing and bad shadowing. Now I'm gonna teach you how to bounce dribble. Now bounce dribbles are very important, and I would recommend not going to 1-on-1 games until you know this. You're a prospect, so otherwise I tell you, you know what, man, you're gonna suck for at least another 500 hours. Well, not 500, 100 hours, and you know you should just try to enjoy the game. You're basically the children of Rocket League. Just have fun while it lasts in the innocent age. But since you do kind of take it seriously, I will take you seriously, and I'll try to do the best explanation I can. Basically, what I just said, I called you a tryhard. The Asian kid, you know. Anyways, bounce dribbles. The theory behind bounce dribbles is very simple. You want to hit the ball as it bounces. With the breakout, for me it's kind of tricky because I usually use the octane, and these high bounces you're seeing right now with the octane are quite easy, but with the breakout I'm kind of fearing I'll miss the bounce and I'll miss the car because the car is so short. Anyways, bounce dribbling is just catching the ball as it bounces up into the air and hitting it up, and continuously moving the ball from the left to the right and from the right to the left, because this gives you a lot of car control. It gives the ball a lot of speed. You can not car control, ball control. So for example, if I just hit it here, I have a lot of why do I keep dodging to the wrong direction? So by this one bounce, I really have a lot of choice. I can just wait for it to bounce, put it on my roof, and then flick it. That's the cheap flick, but I'll teach you that later. You can also just let the ball bounce and then shoot it. You can just bounce it and then put it on your roof. Basically, if you did that against your opponent, you probably could have scored. The way I would approach your opponent is, since he gives you all the space and time and boost in the world, just start a nice dribble like this. Okay, I fucked it. I fucked it because I missed the bounce. Forgive me, this is the first game of the day. Well, not the first game, I guess. The first video of the game of the day. So you bounce it into one direction, and because of physics and vectors, you want to go from the other direction. So if the ball is if the ball is bouncing towards the right, relative. If the ball is bouncing to the left right now, you want to hit it to the right. If it's going to the right, you want to hit it to the left. This gives the ball an amazing amount of speed and energy, as opposed to if you just hit into one direction, it does not generate a lot of power, and also you're being predictable with your dribble. So to recap, I hope I didn't confuse you, but in case I did, I'll recap, try to simplify it even more. Bounce dribbles are a good way to get energy on the ball. You move the ball first to the right or first to the left, and then to the other side because of physics. Because it's bouncing, you want to, in prospect level, I would recommend you wait for the ball to be at its highest after it bounces, and then just hit it lightly into a side and try to aim like that. So don't try to dodge into it or do anything too cheeky. I guess just hitting it at its peak and directing the ball to left or right is going to be good enough, like this. It's not high enough, but you get the gist. Now the cheap flick. By the way, let me just finish about bounce dribbling. If you can do this reliably until you're like satisfied, and until you have to, and until you can stop focusing so much on the timings, and until you can stop focusing so much of when to hit the ball, I think you can consider it as you know how to bounce dribble. That's the point I'd consider it. So when you know when the ball is going to bounce and how far away are you from the ball to hit it, I think this is when you can say confidently that you know how to bounce dribble. There's a lot of tutorials on the internet how to keep the ball on your roof. I would not recommend you going for them. I would recommend you to get into free play and just try to hold the ball on the car and try to make your own opinions, theories, and try to do practice. Try to practically put your theories into work and see if they work, and if they don't, try again. Try a new theory. This is a very good way to learn Rocket League, and I really recommend you not going for the cheap, I'll watch a YouTube video on it. It does help a lot, those YouTube videos, and I recommend a lot of them, but the ones on the ball carry I would not. So the chip flick is basically after when the ball is bouncing, you wait for it to bounce, be at its highest, and then when it's at its highest, you want to get under the car, wait for it to bounce, and then flick it. Let me see if I can do it reliably. This. See how I wait for it to bounce low? It's because low bounces allow me to just kind of stick the ball to my car. I kind of missed it there. You also want to stop boosting before a touch in bounce dribbles. I forgot to mention that. So I'm boosting and then I stop. Well, I don't have to stop. I can just stop boosting. It also does a soft touch. The reason why I do a soft touch is because the ball sticks closer to the car. So you hit it lightly, bounce, flick. And if you can use those flick, the way you can say you're doing the cheap flick successfully is when you can 10 times in a row start the ball like this, make it bounce, get under it, flick it into the goal. I'm not doing that right now because I'm focusing on how to explain. I swear to God, I'm not shit. And then when you can do it 10 times in a row, you can say that you know how to do it. That's two offensive things. If you noticed, you can use the chip flick with your bounce dribbles. You can use your bounce dribbles to shoot, flick, mind game, lob, pinch it off the ground. You can do anything with it basically. So ball dribbles are very good for ball control. Chip flicks are very good for fast. Not I said fast twice because I mean fast as in takes little time to put the ball in the car and then flick, and also as in fast as in the shot is very fast. So a fast hard shot, I guess. It's an easy way to get a fast hard shot onto the goal. Defensively, I told you how to shadow. I don't think I explained it very well, to be honest. It's just you have to develop a feel for it. You have to develop the feel for how much someone can throw the ball or shoot the ball, and you have to develop a sense for how hard their touch will be. So you just have to develop the sense of how far you have to be optimally. One good trick and tip I can give you is imagine this car right here is the opponent's car, and his momentum is towards there, so it's forward, and he's going straight for the center of the goal. If you're shadowing him, you never want to be something that prospects and challengers as well like to do. You don't ever want to be directly in front of the ball. Why? So here's why. If he moves a little bit to the left and then a little bit to the right when he's dribbling, you'll be doing this and this, and you're not really adjusting for anything. To be honest, you're just showing him your butt the whole time. What I like to do when I smurfed, I mean I never smurfed in my life, but if I ever smurfed, the thing I do against prospects is just hit the ball on purpose, a low ball into their butt. They would usually backflip like retards and pass me the ball. You can also use this, that if someone's shadowing you in prospect, you can hit the ball into them by backflipping, and then they'll pass it to you by bouncing it, and since you backflipped, you lost all your speed and you'll be on a bigger distance, and they won't have any speed, and you can win the 50-50. You can shoot, you can flick, you can whatever. So never be like this, always be on the side of the ball. So if he shoots, you can move to the right. If he dribbles straight, you can just move to the right. If he dribbles into you, you can just move to the right. You get the point. You just have one. You just have one direction to think about. So shadowing and 50-50s defensive, 50-50s bounce dribbles and flicks, chip flick for attacks. These are not easy to learn because they have a lot of basic mechanics inside of them. And they're very, very basic, but also very complicated. Things like the car's hitbox and its vectors, and how that affects the ball while it's on the car. Things like physics, things like boost speed and acceleration, because you have to know how far you have to be and when you have to start boosting right after that sweet bounce. It seems easy when I do it, but I have 2,000 hours and it's natural to me. Second nature, as they would say. 50-50s, you have to develop the sense of your opponent's behavior, what they like to do, what often happens in 50-50s, how to better approach them, how to approach them at all, how to deal with losing them, which is good recovery, how to practice recovery, good question. You go into the air, you go do a jazer, and then you try to land on your wheels. And then once this is done, you get into the air, you hold a roll button, and you move the stick randomly with your eyes closed, and after a while you open up your eyes and then you try to land on your wheels. That's how you practice recovery. Let me just try it. I have never actually tried it. I only heard of it. Okay, let's I backflipped, I think, yeah. I'm opening my eyes and I'm on the wheels. There we go. So anyways, that's all from me. I'll give you this trainer, this one, the shot consistency. It's quite good for everything, not just the thing I taught you to hit the ball with your nose. You don't really need anything else than hitting that with your nose. I mean, well, basically, yeah. I think I told you everything I can. The mental part of the video you should watch twice, just and make sure you can control yourself when going to 1v1s. You don't want to be like me and then frustrate yourself and then start to hate 1v1s because of the frustration. You don't want to do that, because the game is basically meant to be fun, not frustrate people. I'm gonna sign off now. I have to do another video. If you need me again, you can always ask. You know where to find me. See ya, boy.